Phil Mickelson is one of the most talented golfers ever, and also one of the most complicated. He's the guy who could make you laugh in a practice round, then pull off a shot you didn't think was possible. And later, he became the center of a storm that changed how a lot of people saw him. So here's Phil, in the words of the people who played with him, chased him, and watched his reputation flip in real time. Let's start with the part nobody disputes. Phil's short game is ridiculously good. Not just the touch, but the creativity. The way he can see shots other guys don't even try. Here's what Tiger Woods had to say about Phil's short game.
I just wish I had his level of short game. I felt like I could pull off shots until I watched him play. It's just a joke. I mean, he's probably the greatest short game that's ever lived. And I got a chance to be around Seve a lot early in my career. Played a lot of practice rounds with him and got a chance to do some training camps and training with him. He hit shots that Seve couldn't hit.
Ask players what it's like being paired with Phil, and you hear the same thing. He keeps it light. There's trash talk. It feels fun, even when the golf is serious. Here's Ricky Fowler describing that exact quality of Phil.
And I know Phil loves getting in there, grinding it out, trying to hit a few shots that matter, get the ball up and down, or make some putts when he needs to. I enjoy about it. It is fun. We talk a lot of trash out there. We have a good time, a lot of good laughs. Nothing too serious, and it's always fun to roll in putts on the other guys.
And Phil's humor shows up even during practice rounds. Here's Jordan Spieth joking about how Phil tried to will his putts out of the hole during a practice round.
Played a number of practice rounds together, and in those practice rounds there's been multiple occasions where you started to work on willing my ball out of the hole.
Yes, I've been working hard at that.
Yeah, so I'm a good mid-range putter, but when I play these rounds with you, none of them seem to go in. You would will them out, then it would lip out, I'd turn to you, and you just give me one of those smiles, nod your head.
You know what happened.
And there was certainly an energy that was keeping the ball out of the hole. So we get paired together at Augusta National.
Now, here's the moment that even people who don't love Phil still respect. Most golfers slow down with age. Phil didn't. In 2021, he went to Kiowa Island and won the PGA Championship at 50 years old, the oldest major champion in men's golf history. That win hit so hard because it wasn't a feel-good story. It was a guy rewriting what "too old for this" is supposed to mean. Here's Rory McIlroy calling it what it was.
Major championship at 50 years old. It was, possibly his last, big moment in the game of golf. And, he should be there. I think he should be here this week and celebrating what a monumental achievement he achieved last year. So
there's another side to Phil that doesn't always come through in headlines. Behind the jokes and the swagger, he kept his circle tight. The clearest example is his long run with Jim Bones Mackay. When a player of his stature stays with the same caddy for decades, it says something about the relationship and about the player. Here's Bones explaining how he ended up with Phil and why it lasted 25 years.
So I knew right away I wanted to take the job with Phil, but the reality of that job and that situation is that he's going to now come out on the tour, he's going to play, there's 150 other caddies out there, he's going to run into some guy he thinks is the greatest guy ever, who's very, very capable, and that's who he's going to want to have caddy for him. So I didn't have any illusions when I went to work for him. I thought this might last a year or so. I thought my goal was to caddy in one Ryder Cup. And maybe I could get to one Ryder Cup with him, and we'll see how it goes. But to his credit, with the kind of guy he was to work for, I ended up doing 11 in a row with him.
So yeah, Phil could be a showman, but people close to him stuck around for a reason. And then everything changed. The LIV era didn't just split the sport, it changed reputations forever. And Phil became one of the biggest faces of it, not only because he joined, but because of what he said when the whole Saudi-backed league was still being talked about behind the scenes. In the quote that set everything on fire, Phil said the Saudis were scary to get involved with. We know they killed Khashoggi and have a horrible record on human rights, and then admitted why he was still considering it. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reshape how the PGA Tour operates. That's what players reacted to, not Phil's ability. They reacted to the idea of using Saudi money as leverage, even while acknowledging the baggage that comes with it. Here's Justin Thomas calling that statement egotistical.
Seems like a bit of a pretty, egotistical statement. I don't know. I mean, it's like he's done a lot of great things for the PGA Tour. It's a big reason it is where it is, but him and others that are very adamant on that, if they're that passionate about it, go ahead. I don't think anybody's stopping them.
Do you feel like it's getting to a point where it's almost like either do it or don't?
I'm way past that. I've heard way too much talk about a lot of players that are so done with everything, but they keep hanging around, so clearly they're not too done.
Here's Billy Horschel saying he respects Phil's legacy, but thought the comments were idiotic and false.
Listen, Phil, as I've said, has been an unbelievable player. He's done unbelievable things in this game of golf. He's been an ambassador for this game of golf for a while. I have tremendous respect for what he's done. But unfortunately, these last 48, no, it's longer than that now, a week and a half, it hasn't been so great for him. Obviously, I've said my comments, and I think some of the stuff he said is sort of idiotic, his comments were. I think I've said they were lies and they were false statements. But same time, I do feel bad for him because he never wanted to, I have no ill will toward the guy. He's been great. He's been nice to me. He's been unbelievable to me. I think a lot of players can say that he's been an unbelievable person to talk to and always open and willing to chat.
And here's Brooks Koepka taking the do what you want, but I don't agree lane.
And I'm happy with the PGA Tour. I think everybody out here is happy, and he can think whatever he wants to think, man. He can do whatever he wants to do. So
now, let's zoom out, because once the split happened, top players started drawing hard lines. Here's Tiger Woods making it clear he strongly disagreed with players leaving the PGA Tour for LIV.
Players who have chosen to go to LIV and to play there, I disagree with it. I think that what they've done is they've turned their back on what has allowed them to get to this position.
And here's the argument that really stings if you're a Phil fan. That Phil didn't just take a different path. He may have damaged his chance to be remembered as golf's universally beloved ambassador type. Here's Brandel Chambly making that point.
If Phil hadn't gone to LIV, if he hadn't been actively recruiting players to LIV and then actively trying to, I would say, undermine the PGA Tour, I'm being kind there, where was Phil going to go? You're right. He would have ascended to a spot in the booth where he would have been unbelievable. He'd have been Tony Romo in the booth. He'd have been Barkley in the booth. He would have been so good. And, he'd have made a fortune doing that, and a fortune, everything off that. He would have ascended to Arnold Palmer. He would have been an honorary starter at Augusta National. He would have ridden off into the sunset as one of the great personalities and caretakers of this game. And it's just sad that he's torpedoed that legacy.
So what's the real Phil Mickelson story? It's talent that made even Tiger jealous. It's a personality that kept the game fun, even at the highest level. It's a major win at 50 that will always be insane. And it's also a chapter where choices and words changed how a lot of people felt about him, including fans and other players. That's Phil, a legend with highlight reel magic and real controversy attached to his name.